Neymar stood alone in the dimly lit locker room, the echoes of the game still ringing in his ears. It had been another victorious match, but something felt off. As he wiped the sweat from his brow, a strange chill ran down his spine. The lights flickered, casting fleeting shadows across the walls. He glanced around, expecting to see his teammates, but the room was empty, eerily empty. The door creaked behind him, and he froze. His heart raced as he slowly turned, expecting to find a staff member or maybe one of the other players. But no one was there. The silence that followed was thick, suffocating. Neymar took a cautious step toward the door, his instincts telling him to leave, but something kept him rooted in place. Suddenly, a voice echoed from the darkness, deep, unfamiliar, and unsettling. "You can't escape what's coming, Neymar." He froze, his breath catching in his throat. The voice was soft, almost whispering, but it felt like it was coming from all directions at once. Panic surged through him, and he looked around frantically, trying to locate the source of the voice, but there was nothing. No sign of life. No sign of anything. "Who's there?" Neymar called out, his voice shaky. A low laugh filled the room, sending a wave of unease over him. "You think you're in control, but you're not," the voice taunted. "You're just a pawn in a game you don't understand." Neymar's heart pounded in his chest. He backed away from the door, looking for an escape route, but the room seemed to be closing in on him. The walls felt closer now, as if the space was shrinking with every passing second. He stumbled over his own feet, tripping backward and falling to the cold floor. His hands reached out, trying to push himself up, but the ground seemed to shift beneath him. "Why are you doing this?" Neymar gasped, trying to steady himself. "Because you deserve it," the voice replied coldly. "You think you're untouchable, that your fame and fortune will protect you, but you're wrong." His mind raced as he tried to make sense of what was happening. The whispers grew louder, more urgent, filling his ears with a symphony of confusion and fear. It was like a nightmare come to life, but it was real. He was trapped, and there was no way out. A sudden chill ran through him as the room began to distort. The lights flickered once more, and when they came back on, Neymar's reflection in the mirror was no longer his own. It was a twisted version of himself, pale, eyes hollow, with a sinister grin. What is this?" Neymar whispered, his voice trembling. The reflection in the mirror spoke, its voice no longer his own. "You can never run from yourself, Neymar. The truth is always with you." Neymar's breath caught in his throat as the reflection reached out, its fingers pressing against the glass. The glass cracked, and the reflection reached through, its cold hand grabbing Neymar by the wrist. The grip was vice-like, unyielding. He struggled, but it was no use. The reflection pulled him toward the glass, dragging him closer, closer to the darkness. "You can't escape," the voice whispered again, this time much louder. "You belong to the darkness now." In a final burst of adrenaline, Neymar pulled himself free, breaking free from the hold of the mirror. He stumbled back, gasping for air. The room was still, silent again, but the fear lingered, clinging to him like a suffocating fog. Neymar ran, not stopping to think, not even questioning why he was being hunted by something so unnatural. His footsteps echoed through the hallway as he sprinted toward the exit, but every door he tried was locked, every path a dead end. The whispers followed him, getting louder with every step. Finally, he reached the final door. He turned the handle, his hands shaking with fear, and threw it open. The outside world greeted him with blinding light, but as he stepped into the sunlight, he realized the truth. He had never left the locker room. The door had led him right back to where he started. The voice, now louder than ever, rang in his ears. "You will never escape. You belong to the game, Neymar." And then, everything went dark.